Welcome everyone to the very first virtual Alumni Day. My name is Debbie Gerlach and I represent the class of 1970. When I was first approached to give the Spirit of 70 speech, I was very hesitant. However, after much thought and careful consideration, I decided to take on the challenge and accept the invitation with honor. Rather than calling this a speech to read, however, I like to think of it more as a story to share as I roll back the clock 50 years and take us on a trip down memory lane. The tech we knew during our 4 years here from 1966 to 1970 was far different than it is today. Busing hadn't yet been implemented, and we attended our neighborhood grade schools. The grade schools we attended and the neighborhoods in which we lived determined that we would become Titans in the fall of 1966 and begin 4 wonderful years at this great school. If we weren't fortunate enough to have transportation to and from school until we were old enough to drive, we could ride city buses for a quarter with our bus passes. Girls had to wear dresses and skirts that could be no shorter than fingertip length. We were only permitted to wear slacks under our dresses in the winter, but we had to take them off before first period. We didn't carry book bags or backpacks, and usually only had time to stop at our lockers when we arrived at school, once during the day and again at dismissal. Life was somewhat simpler 50 plus years ago, even without today's technology. We had never heard of cell phones, PCs, word processors, Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Yet somehow we survived. We couldn't Google anything. And when it was time to write a term paper, we actually had to do research by going to the library and pouring through encyclopedias and reference books and make an abundance of note cards. The UPC code hadn't even been invented yet. And if you worked a part-time job at a grocery store or other retailer, you had to manually key prices into a cash register. You even knew how to make change and actually had to count it back to the customer. There were no magnet programs at Tech or schools within the school, but we were offered an amazing curriculum taught by dedicated teachers who gave us the best education possible. 4 diplomas were offered: academic, fine and practical arts, vocational, and general. There was a plethora of clubs to join and activities to become involved in. The music department offered tech choir, girls and boys ensembles, and concert clubs, boys octet, melodaires, band, orchestra, and handbell choir. If music wasn't your thing, there was the ROTC program, including boys and girls drill teams and ROTC sponsors. There was cheerleading, majorettes, SAO board, junior and senior councils, and junior achievement. There were prom committees on which to serve in the Canon newspaper and yearbook staffs if you were a journalism student. We also enjoyed many campus activities such as Sadie Hawkins Day, Sketchbook, Mardi Gras, and organized all-school dances. School spirit was exemplary, with pep rallies and bleachers filled with students and parents at football and basketball games. Many of us would gather at the Burger Chef on East 10th Street, now Hardee's, after games. Other favorite spots included Steer-In and sometimes the Teepee. Homecoming was a big event each year, especially during our senior year, when each senior roll room designed and created a float for the parade around the football stadium, hoping theirs would win the contest. Roll room 6 won, by the way, but I still think room 153's float was the very best. Some trivia facts of 1970 on a national and local level include the following. Richard Nixon was president and Spiro T. Agnew vice president. The Vietnam conflict continued, but many of us neglected to see its importance at the time and how it was shaping the history of our country. The Kent State Massacre occurred on May 4th, 1970, when Ohio National Guardsmen shot and killed Boers, Kent State students and wounded 9 others during a mass protest against the bombing of neutral Cambodia by U.S. military forces. The civil rights movement ensued, and there was racial unrest in the country as well as here at Tech, but we managed to get past that. We listened to music by the Beatles, the Jackson 5, Tommy James and the Shondells, Simon and Garfunkel, the Bee Gees, Elvis Presley, Marvin Gaye, and Ray Stevens, to name just a few. Ray Stevens' Everything is Beautiful topped the charts the week of June 1, 1970. The most watched TV show was Marcus Welby, MD. The AFL champion, Kansas City Chiefs, defeated the NFL champion, Minnesota Vikings, with a major upset score of 23-7 in Super Bowl IV in New Orleans on January 11, 1970. That victory squared the Super Bowl series at 2 games apiece for the AFL and NFL leagues, and the 2 leagues then merged into one as the NFL. As we all know, the Chiefs didn't make it back to the Super Bowl again for 50 years with their second win on February 2nd, 2020. Richard Lugar was mayor of Indianapolis in 1970 and Edgar Whitcomb governor. The City-County Council of Indianapolis and Marion County was founded on January 1st, 1970, and combined the city-county governments into one legislative body known as Unigo. Al Unser Sr. won his first of 4 Indianapolis 500s on May 30th, 1970. The Indiana Pacers were still in the ABA and won a league championship that year. The list goes on, and I have touched on but a few of the many noteworthy events that occurred during our time as Titans. In retrospect and in closing, I am so grateful for the opportunity to have attended this fine school. My passion for Tech continues as I serve on the alumni board as the recording secretary, a position I have held for over 10 years. I encourage fellow 1970 classmates, and others too, of course, to become involved in alumni board activities. There are many committees on which to serve that support the board and our students in so many positive ways. We award scholarships to deserving students and grants for many extracurricular activities and programs that would otherwise not be possible. Please consider offering your time and talents to give back to Tech the great things it has given you. I hope you have enjoyed hearing this story as much as I did in writing it. Thank you.